Warning: this escape pod flash contains violent themes and images and may be disturbing to more sensitive listeners. Ubiquitous by Douglas Triggs. There was too much blood, more than usual. He hated the blood. He hated it all. He hated the screams. He hated the pain when he tried to resist. But he knew that he couldn't ignore the commands when they came. He couldn't. Getting the blood out of his clothes was going to be a bitch. The body lay on the floor of his kitchen. No longer a person, it was now just a body. The life had leaked all over the floor, making a hell of a mess. The clicks and squeals in his head subsided. No one else could understand them except him. No one else could even hear them. But they'd always been there, ever since he could remember. They hadn't meant anything at first, not until he was older, well into his teenage years. They said terrible things, disturbing things, but still he could ignore them, even if he didn't dare tell anyone about them. And then they started telling him to do things. He couldn't at first. But they got harder and harder to ignore. Eventually the pain was unbearable. Eventually he broke. This was his 5th time. The clicks in his head didn't help him clean it up.
"What do you think, Jack?"
Jack scratched his chin thoughtfully as he looked at the list of names and addresses on the screen. A few had pictures next to them. Most didn't. "Let's try this one. John Wynne Kavanaugh? Yeah, him." His partner laughed.
"If his middle name was Wayne, he'd be a slam dunk."
Jack didn't smile. He didn't think it was funny. Not after finding 4 bodies. The town, not quite a city, wasn't so big that he thought he'd ever see that many in his whole career. At least not like this. Natural causes, sure. Maybe a few drunken brawls that ended in shots. But not this. Not that he'd really thought about something like this happening before he actually saw it. This was something big city cops had to worry about, not him.
"Let's go,"
he said. Time to start pounding the pavement. Jack knocked on the door. His partner scanned the street, but Jack knew there was nothing to see there.
"Mr. Kavanaugh," he called. "We just want to talk to you."
The door opened. John Kavanaugh appeared at the door, blood all over his shirt. He wasn't even trying. He wanted to be caught. Jack stepped into the house, pushed Mr. Kavanaugh against a wall, face first, and cuffed him.
"You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney." "Man, what are the odds? First try,"
said Jack's partner under his breath, so only Jack could hear him. But Jack had already known. The chirps and whistles in his head had told him. This is Steve Ely for Escape Pod. Find us online at escape.extraneous.org.